So let's talk more about what kids and parents should be bracing for and how to cope from two psychologists who specialize in education. Dr. Kelly Dean Schwartz is with the University of Calgary and Dr. Todd Cunningham is at the University of Toronto. Hello to both of you.
Hello.
Hello, Andrew.
Hey, so Dr. Cunningham, maybe I can start with you. And I want to start, if I could, with one of the key findings in this questionnaire that we heard about earlier, how most teachers said that they felt some students may never catch up, to compensate for this gap. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it actually falls in line with what we know from past research. There's something called the summer slide. So students who don't have access to learning materials such as literacy and numeracy tools have supportive environments that are encouraging them to kind of build their literacy skills over the course of a summer, or who have learning challenges, they typically lose about 2 to 3 months of literacy and numeracy skills over the course of just a 2-month summer. Now, fast forward to today, we've had 14 plus months of those students who haven't had access to regular education, ongoing education, and we're expecting that they're going to be falling further behind. So fast forward to whenever we do return, teachers are going to be having a large range of abilities sitting in their class, those who have continued to develop as we'd expect, and then other students who have not. And we really need to pay attention to those students to catch them up.
Right. And Dr. Schwartz, students have missed out on so much. Are there particular age groups or grades that concern you most?
Yeah, so we're privileged to do a study here in Alberta with some Calgary and Edmonton junior high and senior high schools, and really interesting. It was something we again knew from the literature that we thought we'd see differences between kind of early adolescence and mid and older adolescents, and certainly what we found was that there's a difference both in how they're thinking about their educational experiences, but also in terms of kind of some of the mental health symptoms or indicators. Certainly their social connections are different, where the older teens, kind of the 15 to 18-year-olds, are certainly reporting higher levels of stress, more concern over the effects on their educational experiences, whereas the younger teens are a little bit more concerned about the social aspect of it. And again, we were kind of surprised to see that, but it sort of makes sense developmentally too in terms of what's their priority, the social versus the academic.
Right, and I'm glad you make that distinction because it is so important and so key to this in the sense that every individual is going to react to this gap differently. So Dr. Cunningham, what is your initial sense about how best to deal with such a difficult circumstance?
Yeah, I think we're going to need to take the next couple months in education to really step back and say, okay, how can we first identify those students who are going to be further behind? And the second thing is, how can we equip our educators, our teachers, to be able to help to address that? So we live in an exciting time in education where we have these really cool little measures, these what's called curriculum baseline measures, which is a 1-minute test that a teacher can use to help identify either a student's reading, math, or writing skills and say, okay, you are developing fine and this group is not. So let me differentiate my time that I'm spending on helping to support these students. Let me shift some of my time to more of those lower students to, again, help them get caught back up so that I can get everybody back on track as best as possible to continue out the learning year.
And Dr. Schwartz, from a parent's point of view, I mean, especially thinking that digital learning may be something, at least in some way, shape, or form, may be something that sticks around, right, in some way into September, perhaps maybe even beyond. So how should a parent be bracing for that moment?
Yeah, isn't it a mixed blessing? I mean, I think most parents are kind of actually happy that there's been a bit of a technology overload, because we've been kind of talking about that with our kids and with our youth about the dangers and risks of it. Now we've just been so engrossed in it for over a year. It's become, it's part of our social connections and it's part of our educational learning environments. And I think it's all about, again, trying to find that balance. We as psychologists are always trying to think about what are the pros and cons, what are the weaknesses and benefits of too much or inappropriate use of technology. Now moving forward, it's not a matter of if, but it's just how much, and how do we learn from our COVID experience in terms of putting boundaries around that technology use and learning from it for the benefit of our kids, but also learning what we shouldn't do as a result.
Dr. Cunningham, you're nodding your head. We've got about 20 seconds left. You get the final word here.
Well, I think, we have to divide technology into like the education part versus the entertainment part. And yes, I think as parents, we've all kind of used the entertainment screen a little bit more to be that babysitter in the classroom. And so going forth, we're really going to have to work with our youth to say, okay, as we can replace that time with other healthy activities, going outside, getting back into extracurricular activities, that we do so that we have better kind of screen hygiene and we don't just continue to sit there staring at the screen 24/7.
Gentlemen, we're just scratching the surface, but this has been helpful. Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Cunningham, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.